Hey everyone, it's Hiedi Scott, and today I am DIY dreaming about these darling little flag rag signs that you can make. So I'm super excited to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you everything from how to do the bandanas. I found a super easy way to actually rip them. I'm going to show you a ton of alternatives that you could do to make this idea. And anyways, I'm super excited. So let me see, I have a ton to say. Before I actually get started showing you how to make one of these flag rag signs using this, I want to just tell you what my philosophy is about decorating for the seasons. Other than Christmas, I never make my seasonal decorations very specific to a particular holiday. I just go more with a theme of the season overall. So for example, with Thanksgiving, I don't tend to do a ton of turkeys or specific things that say Thanksgiving. Same with Halloween too. I'll tend to just do more colors that are in the fall colors and use that rather than going super specific. So for 4th of July, that's like one day and really only about 1 week that you're focused on it. So these things that I made right now maybe give you that thought of a flag. So they're great for 4th of July, but they also look summery to me. So I would use this outside, inside, in the house, hanging on my fireplace, somewhere all summer long. So this was the first one I made, and how I made it was I just used, let's see, one of these little canvas. I think this is either 6x6 or 8x8. I can't remember. I got a pack of 4 of them at Walmart for $6, so they're super inexpensive. This one right here, I made using the same thing. It's also a stretch canvas. This is either 10x10 or 12x12. I can't remember. I probably picked this canvas up at Hobby Lobby. They always have great deals on canvases. So, and then I just used a little hot glue and some bandanas, and I'm gonna show you all the steps with this other shape. Okay, let me see where I can put this. Okay, so today what I'm gonna show you is how to make one of these flag rag signs using one of these shapes of wood that look like a tag. This started its life like this. I picked these up at Walmart at Christmas time for $1 a piece. And they're nice, solid, good size. And so the first thing I did was I used some sandpaper to sand off this little raised star and to make sure that the words weren't raised. And then I just wiped it down with a sponge and some water. And then I used a Maker Studio brand Rescue Restore paint in this awesome color called Summer Nights. This is what it looks like. It's a great color. I only put on 1 coat of paint. I didn't paint the back of it. I wanted it to sort of look a little rustic and not perfect, but this paint from a Maker Studio is great. It goes on great, it adheres great, and you can see, can you see any raised star on there that had glitters? You can't, because I just sanded that off. It took 2 seconds. Okay, so that was the first thing I did, is I sanded it and painted it, and then I've let it dry about an hour. By the way, there's other things that you could make these flag rag signs out of. You could just use a little block of 2x4. You can pick up these little cutout shapes in squares and rectangles all over Hobby Lobby, Walmart, everywhere for just a couple dollars. You could also do it using, this was from Christmas last year, my mantle. Anyways, this is just a little wood sign. You could use something like this too. So and you can probably think of 100 other things. You could go small too, and I have some of these little finished tag things from, these I think came from Home Depot, and they were like $1 for a set of little ones. You could go little too. Okay, so I've painted it one coat. It's ready to go. Now I'm going to show you the really fun part about this project, and that is the part involving the flag part. So my idea was to use some bandanas, and I'm all for using what you actually have in your house. I was wishing I could find a navy blue bandana, but I didn't have one. So I just used a couple of these cruddy, been washed a zillion times, red bandanas, and then I had picked up at my local Target in the dollar section these napkins. It was like 4 for $3 or something a while ago, and we used them once, and they're just sitting in my cabinet, so I pulled them out and thought I'm going to use those too. Okay, so what you do to cut them is you decide how wide you want the little flag part to be. And for this one, you can see there maybe 1.5 inches. I think I did about the same width on these. Oh, hey, and look, I cut alternating at the bottom. I did this little ribbon one, and then a little point, and then a little ribbon one. You can't see. Anyways, you get the point. I just alternated. And how long you let the little flaggy things go also sort of depends on the proportions of the part, the hard part that you're doing. So obviously for this bigger one, I did longer streams, and for the smaller one, I did smaller streams. And for this project, I'm going to do even smaller and shorter ones. Okay, I have Anita, Geraldine, and there was somebody else. Anyways, hi everybody. I hope you like this idea. Oh my gosh, it's so easy. I have a few places to go to see friends, and I'm going to make a bunch of these and take them as hostess gifts for everybody. So if you're one of my friends and I'm coming to see you soon, pretend like you didn't see this live. Okay, so for this size, I'm going to do my little ribbons smaller. And I've already cut those, so they're ready to go. But I want to show you how you do it, because this I sort of stumbled on. So do I have scissors here? Of course not. Let me grab some. Hang on. Okay, I probably do have some here, but they're buried. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to decide how wide you want your little ribbons to be. And then you're just going to start cutting. Cut just a little ways into it. You can cut the whole strip if you want, but why would you when you can just go like this? And you can cut a bunch of them and rip them out all at once. And then for this shorter flag, I just cut my little strips in half. Okay, so that's how you cut your bandanas. You can also use ribbons if you like that idea. And this is what I had going with use what you have in your house. This is what I had that were sort of 4th of July colors. But maybe you have some pretty navy blue polka dot or some pretty white with navy blue polka dots or something like that. Then by all means, use what you have. Hey, Norma Jean. Okay, so now the fun part is the gluing part. And then I'm going to show you how you stencil the front of it, and I'm going to talk about stencil options. Okay, so I have my little pieces, and my thought was to alternate red, whitish with blue stripes, red, whitish with blue stripes. And I was also going to alternate because these pieces, some of them have the darker on the bottom. And my plan is to glue the part that still has the seam on it. Okay, that'll make sense in just a second. This is the part where I always seem to get hurt using my hot glue gun. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a white piece. Can you see if I got everything out of the way? And you can sort of scrunch the pieces of fabric up a little bit so they don't just lay flat. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. after I get them glued on here, I'm going to show you how to cut the bottom also. Let me just get a couple going and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. I always use a low temperature glue gun because in my opinion, they work just as well as the super hot ones, and you're less likely to really injure yourself using a low temperature one. If you're doing this project with kids also, you might want to do this part, because last night I did burn my finger on one of them. Okay, so this is the start of it, and I'll cut them off at different lengths when they're all glued on. But what I was talking about, the bunching it up part, is just once you put your glue on, lay your piece on top of it and then sort of smush it a little bit. So let me finish this design and then I'll show you the front and how we're going to do our stencil. And I am going to be using this stencil, which is from that same company, Maker Studio. It has anchors on it, which that's what I was saying just a few minutes ago about using something that is sort of seasonal. Anchors could be summery, and they kind of remind me of the repeating pattern of the stars on the flag, but it's not so flaggish that I couldn't just use it all year long. Okay, and I usually don't really even decorate very much for 4th of July, but I'm doing this whole series of things that you can make for 4th of July, and so I just started thinking about this, and this is what I ended up with, and hopefully I have enough pieces. Okay, 2 more to go, and then I'll show you the next step. When you tear your pieces of bandana or napkins, if you're using that, or fabric of your choice, you're gonna have strings and stuff, and after the project is all done, you can go in and then sort of neaten it up and pull the strings off and make it look nice. But while you're in the middle of the project, there's no need to do that. These are the strings I'm talking about. Can you see that? Okay, let me stick this one on, and then we'll be ready to go on to the next step. And there's no need to be perfect in how you glue those on, because nobody's going to see the back of it. And also, I want it to look sort of country-ish, so I don't want it to be perfect. So this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to cut them. And to do that, I'll usually just sort of fold them in half to do little points and then little corners. I think they look cuter when they're sort of all different lengths. Let's see who's on there. What do you guys think? Would you, if somebody gave you one of these signs, would you like it? Is this something that you think, a project that you think that you would be likely to try? Let's see, the center one I'm going to do just a little bit longer. There. If you're watching this on replay, put, if you would, hashtag replay in the comments. And if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll get back to you. You can leave me a question in the comments. You can send me a personal message. You can even send me a text or give me a phone call, because I have all that information in my profile. All right, one last piece. Okay. So here's what it looks like. I did the center piece longer. Oops, that's way too long. I think I'll shorten that a little bit. So that's basically what you get. When I got this piece, it came with some burlap on it. So I just took that off before I painted, but I'll probably put that back on. And now I'm going to show you what the stencil options are. And a couple things to know. You know, there's tons of different stencil options. You don't have to have stars to make a flag rag sign. You can use anchors. Like this is the Maker Studio anchor stencil that I was talking about earlier. Or you could use, like this stencil right here says home is where the heart is. So you could use home in it. Or you could pick a corner of it. Or this one says there is a season for everything. So you could even do the word season. Or of course you can pick out any part of any stencil and focus on that. And while I'm telling you about that, let me tell you, my last Facebook Live, I showed you how to make 4th of July dish towels using the Maker Studio Gel Art ink. And this was my completed project, which I think it turned out so cute. Can you guys see that? After I did the center part of the stencil, then I went back and added this little corner detail in each one of the corners. This is just like less than $2 dish towel from Target, some a Maker Studio gel ink in Hush Your Mouth, which is a navy blue color, and Bless His Heart, which is a dark red. I applied it on there, let it dry, and then I heat set it with my iron, and it's permanent, totally usable. It's 4th of July-ish, so it could be used all summer and then pretty much really all year long. And how it's 4th of July-ish is really just the colors. Okay, so I think for this piece right here, I am going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to do, well, should I do something different? I think I'm going to just do the anchors again because I really like that and it's super easy. So this is an anchor stencil that, that I've used quite a bit. These things you can use like 25, 30, 35 times if you take care of them and just wash them after you use them. And I am going to be using some of this Maker Studio chalk art and a little spreader. The applicator tool looks like this when you get it, and then I'll just cut mine into smaller pieces. So let me just eyeball this. I'm never precise. I don't ever really measure anything. Just kind of want to generally get an idea of where it's going to lay. I think part of having things be perfectly imperfect is what gives them some charm. So that's why I don't measure. But I do want it to be relatively straight. Let me see. Am I at all straight on here? No. Is that better? Yes. Okay. So then to do the chalk art, and the Rescue Restore paint smells great. It has essential oils in it. This color again is called Summer Nights. And this color chalk art that I'm using is just white, and it's called Peace and Joy. So I'm gonna just take a little dab and put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. I will put in the comments links to everything that I've talked about today, except for the bandanas. You just need to go look, and you probably have 10 or 15 of those hanging out in your drawers somewhere. Or run to Walmart or Hobby Lobby and you can pick up some bandanas for almost nothing if you don't have one handy right now. And you may have some shapes that you can use for the dark blue part already at your house. I just went to I have a little craft closet that has a bunch of things that anytime I want to craft, I can just sort of pull them out. I like to pick things up as I'm going along. Like I picked up these little Christmas things last Christmas when they were on clearance at Walmart. I didn't know what I was going to do with them. And I was excited when I saw them in my craft closet because they were perfect for this. Okay, so that's basically all you do. Where's my paper plate? I'm just gonna pull it off. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll take pictures. Oh, it's darling. I'll take pictures and put those in the comments. Here we go. Sorry I talked so long, but I love this project. So next up will either be a banner for your fireplace or coasters. I'm not sure. So hope you like this. If I can help you with anything, just let me know. I'm going to include my affiliate link in the comments to the paint, the stencil, and the chalk art. And if you like this project and want to do it at your house, you can just go ahead and click on those links and order your supplies. The company's super quick about getting things out to you. And I don't know if you know this, but they just changed it so that any order over $25 gets free shipping, which is awesome. And the cost of these products is completely reasonable. So hope you enjoyed this. Happy 4th of July, happy summer a little early. And I will see you again very soon on another Facebook Live.